Some superhero movies entertain people for a few hours, but some stories completely redefine an entire universe. And right now, that's exactly what's happening with the MCU. Because Avengers Doomsday doesn't feel like just another Avengers movie anymore. It feels like the true endgame of the entire multiverse saga, the moment where every universe, every hero, and every mistake finally collides. I made a lot of videos about Doomsday already. Every week we hear new reports, new insider leaks, and honestly, the more information that comes out, the clearer it becomes that Doctor Doom is about to become the most dangerous villain the MCU has ever introduced. So today, instead of talking about random leaks separately, we're connecting all the dots. We're going to break down how Doom might enter the story, how he meets the Fantastic Four, how Steve Rogers becomes the central figure of the entire war, how Thor could lose his brother forever, and how the final battle may lead every surviving hero straight to Latveria for the ultimate multiversal war. And trust me, if even half of this happens, the MCU is about to change forever. So let's start with the scene that may secretly set up the entire movie, the post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four. First steps. According to multiple insider reports, the original post-credit scene was apparently very different. At first, it was rumored to include Steve Rogers. But later, Marvel reportedly changed it and replaced it with the arrival of Doctor Doom. And here's the detail most people missed. When Doom enters the Baxter building, Sue Storm doesn't panic. She doesn't look afraid, which probably means Doom isn't a stranger to the Fantastic Four. At least not yet. That's where the story begins. Doom approaches Reed Richards and warns him that something far worse than Galactus is coming. Not a threat to one universe, but to the entire multiverse itself. At first, Reed may not believe him, but then Doom explains incursions, the collision of universes, the destruction of realities, and the terrifying truth that the process has already started. But here's the twist. Doom reveals that he hasn't just discovered the problem. He's already found the source of it. And according to him, that source exists in another universe. That's when the Fantastic Four decide to leave with Doom to investigate the root of the incursions. But Doom won't come alone. He'll arrive with his mysterious harbingers, powerful beings personally chosen for his mission. Not just soldiers, but pieces of a larger plan. And this is where the story takes a massive turn. After the events of Avengers Endgame, Steve Rogers may have never truly stayed in the past timeline. Instead, he may have lived in an alternate universe where he could finally have a normal life. And that single decision could have triggered the first incursion. When the Fantastic Four arrive in Steve's universe and explain everything to him, Steve finally realizes that his personal happiness may have accidentally endangered the multiverse itself. And from that moment on, Steve joins the mission. Meanwhile, somewhere deep in space, Thor begins sensing that reality itself is breaking apart. Cosmic energy feels unstable. The universe no longer feels normal. And because love was created from eternity's power, Thor realizes she could also be in danger if the multiverse collapses. So he tries to return to Earth to protect her. That's when Thor encounters the Fantastic Four's ship. Imagine that moment. Thor and Steve Rogers reunited after years apart, right before the greatest war in Marvel history. But the real story hasn't even started yet, because Doom's true goal was never simply stopping the incursions. His real mission is finding the power holding the multiverse together. Through forbidden magic and deep research, Doom eventually discovers something terrifying. Every universe is connected by the same mystical energy source. One being, one throne, one living anchor holding reality together. Loki, the god of stories, the being who sacrificed himself to hold every timeline together at the end of Loki Season 2. And this changes everything for Doom, because now he realizes that if he can steal Loki's power, he won't just save the multiverse. He can control it, rewrite it, rule it. That's the moment Doom betrays everyone. He turns against Reed Richards and tells him something brutal. Reed's biggest weakness has always been his ego, believing science can solve every problem. But this time, Doom believes only absolute power can fix reality itself. And just like that, the alliance falls apart. Doom sends part of his harbingers into the X-Men universe, where Sentinels are already massacring mutants across the world. And finally, we may discover who magically enhanced the Sentinels in the first place. At the same time, Doctor Strange finally steps out of the shadows. And Strange may become the first person to truly understand what's happening. If the heroes don't unite immediately, Doom wins. From here, the movie transforms into full-scale multiversal war. The Fantastic Four arrive on Earth 616. They recruit the Thunderbolts, then Sam Wilson's Avengers, then Wakanda, then Loki. Meanwhile, the X-Men universe is collapsing under the pressure of the incursion. And for one terrifying moment, Avengers and X-Men may actually fight each other, believing the opposing universe is responsible for destroying their world. Until Doctor Strange intervenes and reveals the truth. The enemy isn't another universe. The enemy is Doom. Meanwhile, at the TVA, everything has already gone wrong. Doom has nearly slaughtered everyone there, and he has already stolen Loki's power. When Thor and Steve finally arrive, they're too late. And honestly, this could become one of the most emotional scenes in MCU history. Because Thor realizes that after all these years, after all the pain and loss, he still failed to see his brother one last time. But there's no time to grieve, because now Doom has become something far worse than a villain. He's become a god. And that leads us to the final phase of the movie. Under Steve Rogers' leadership, the greatest army in Marvel history finally assembles. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Wakanda, Loki, the Thunderbolts. And on the other side, Thor returns with the divine army of Asgard itself. Then one name changes everything. Latveria, Doom's kingdom, Doom's empire, and possibly the location of the final battle of the Multiverse saga. Steve's strategy would be simple. Send in the heavy hitters first. Thor, Sentry, every cosmic-level powerhouse available. Because this time, they're not fighting a conqueror. They're fighting a man who turned himself into a god. And that's where the Battle of Latveria begins. Now, obviously, I'm not saying this is the exact plot of the movie, but based on every major leak, rumor, insider report, and a setup we've seen so far, this might honestly be one of the most coherent ways all these storylines connect together. And if Marvel actually pulls this off, Avengers Doomsday could become the biggest, darkest, and most emotional MCU movie ever made. So what do you think? Will Doom really steal Loki's power? Will Steve Rogers lead the Avengers one last time? And could the Multiverse saga end with the destruction of every universe except one? Thanks for watching, friends. Like and subscribe for more videos.